isn't it?
Yes, yes, it is. So are we center properly? Yes, we are
I
live.
think so. Yes, yes, yes. Oh,
Yes.
hi,
How are
Francis.
you?
Oh, good. Waving. G'day from
Hopefully signal
Australia.
is yeah, hopefully the network is good for us. Okay.
Yes,
Now, because
yes.
it was a little bit unstable last time, but it should be good for us, I think. Yeah. How are you, Catherine? Good to
I'm
see you.
good. I'm
Yeah.
good. Is this working for you? This aspect? I don't
Yes, yes.
know. I
So have you
can't.
seen the video? I put the video up. Have you
I
seen it?
did. Yeah, I did. In fact, I was really pleased to see that you addressed it because
Yes. Mm,
I mean it's actually okay. I think there's two things going on with that. Okay, not everyone is going to get it. Not everyone is going to like this new um, image of
yes.
royalty, of
Yes.
royalty. We'll put it in that context, right?
Yeah.
But I get that, and particularly a lot of people in my age group, I, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. But there's more than that going on here because
Mm,
it's about the Daily Mail and the
yeah.
Daily Mail um, setting their sails to the Sussex
Mm.
camp. What are your thoughts on that, Francis? What do you think's going on?
Yeah, it's an interesting one because it started slowly by slowly, and then that comes through that story there. I think it's the Daily Mail. And I'm thinking, wow, so where is this coming from? Okay. But I think it has to be somebody from the other side of the Atlantic. The other side of the Atlantic. Definitely, I think this is where all the sabotaging is coming from. And when you look around online, YouTube, you see all these Sussex squad uh, commentators pushing that sort of narrative and talking down this video and literally turning it upside down. And it is only because obviously they are not always going to be happy to see Catherine and William steal the spotlight. So they are always going to come up with this. So I think this has to do with somebody from the other side trying to sabotage and just literally um, bring down our dear Catherine's confidence, because we know this video was a very big confidence booster for Catherine. It was. And there are some people out there who are constantly trying to bring her confidence levels down. And we saw this happening with uh, Catherine's absence, those initial days of her diagnosis, and how they came up with all these theories. Okay. And some of those theories that people had actually started believing in. So it is the same thing we are seeing now. Okay.
Mm,
That
mm.
side of okay hasn't always been supportive of our dear Catherine and Princess of Wales. But we will not let that happen. We won't, because this was a family showing the whole world how they are grateful for life. Okay. This was a family that showed a lot of resilience and courage throughout these very difficult times. And that video was a classic example of what it means to be grateful about life. And I thought the voicing over that voice and the words in that voicing over from Catherine's heart matched the video perfectly, because they told us exactly what somebody feels going through that difficult time. So that is what they should have actually looked at most and not scrutinized things in the way they've started scrutinizing it. Okay. Very, very absurd to see this happen because I thought we had gone away from all of that and we are all together in this. And, the Welleses had made their points clear that, from the start, we have been on this journey and this is where we have reached. But sadly, there are people out there who are still constantly looking for, the simplest of things to try and bring down the confidence of the Wellses. Okay.
Well,
So,
I get what you're saying there because I think her detractors, what which makes this attack on her quite abhorrent, what they are overlooking is the gravity of the situation in which this has been released. It's been released against the backdrop of months and months of grueling chemotherapy.
mm,
It's grueling, and only someone who's gone through that or witnessed it with other family members understands that. And
mm,
I think this is why people like yourself and others, myself included, because my late husband died of cancer, so I'm really conversant in that whole dynamic that goes with someone who's going through it. And that's what makes this so abhorrent. I'll just use a polite word. Abhorrent. It is, the attack on her is abhorrent, but I just don't understand. Well, I actually do understand why the Daily Mail have gone down this track because they're being sued by Harry. But there's been a complete switch with from the Hollywood Reporter, who has really left and all in on entertainment and all the rest of it, coming out with that report on Meghan Markle being a dictator in high heels. And
mm.
then you've got this Daily Mail position, and it is a total switch over into the Sussex camp.
Yeah, definitely. I saw that. I really saw that. This is a Sussex camp pumping through. It is very sad because Catherine, everybody looked at that video, and it is a video of somebody or a family that acted naturally in a way that every other family would act. The kids themselves and how the kids were integrated into this film, you know, and it isn't the first time we have seen William and Kate do something like that. We know Catherine. Remember was it the coronation ceremony
Yeah,
when we had the behind the scenes video of the
mm,
Prince and Princess of Wales and the
that's
children
right.
getting ready. So we have seen something like a film like this before. Catherine and her husband always want to let us in sometimes to see what their family is like. And that is one way of connecting with the world. Okay. So
Mm,
it is not
mm,
new. Those people who have been saying that, um, this has never happened, that sort of expression of love and the filming and this series like soap, it came across as a soap of a sort, like Kim Kardashian. So I mean soap, it was all glossy. It has never been anything like that before. No, it has happened before. The coronation ceremony, you saw that filming. It was, but also back in the days, the Queen and her husband did something similar, when they sat down on the mat like a
I
picnic.
remember that. Mm,
Yes, okay.
mm.
And I know there will always be people who will be complaining about things. And I know back then there was a bit of a backlash as well. people talked about that video, and I think in the end, the Queen pulled it off. They sort of got rid of it
Mm.
from showing on social media at the time. But it's not new, it's something that has been done before. So these Sussex squad and the narrative of, oh, that has never happened before. That is unreal. How can the royal family behave in a way like they did, falling down,
Mm.
eggs, and all of that? That is all jealous. That's in my way of looking at it. They're just jealous.
Oh, I
Oh,
think you're right.
yeah, okay. And because they are seeing Catherine very happy now, she's in a happy place and she's getting there, she's soon returning back to royal duties. They are now starting to get scared. Oh, she's gonna get back now, and she's because they know that is where they want her to be always, to be sad, to feel like but shame upon them. Shame upon them.
Well,
Okay.
you know, uh, when we did our last live, see, I'm not a huge fan of that style of video, right? But
Hmm.
that was not the point for me. That and I thought you nailed it when you called it a very romantic presentation of their family, of their relationship, their love. I thought your use of that word romantic was well placed.
Hmm.
And that was actually how I received it. And so, even though the style of video, etc., is not to my personal taste, that was irrelevant to me because I saw a woman who is has come through, faced her own mortality, stared down cancer, and has come out and expressed enormous gratitude to everyone who was in the battle with them as a family. Then the other thing I saw was a man who will never roll over. He is his own man, which I love that. I love to see when a man is his own man and is making a stand and putting a stake in the ground in terms of this is our story and we own it and no one else is going to control this because of his experience with his mother, and he witnessed firsthand the battle royal between his father and his mother that played out in the media, and he was never going to allow his story to be hijacked like that. So that's why you've got the media now beginning to pile on because they don't have the access that they used to have with Diana. They don't have the access that they even had with the king and Camilla because they were participating in that dynamic as well. So, and this is no criticism. This is just history, right? We see it. We know what history has shown us, but this is what I saw. And so, when I said I'm there for this new royalty, for this, I'm there for a king who is saying here and now, this is what you're going to get. So get used to it. And
Hmm.
I think it was a mistake for the Daily Mail to do this
Hmm.
because William will not forget. He
No,
won't
no.
forget. And so, in my view, there are dark days ahead for Britain. We see what's playing out in the UK at the present time, but the future is bright
Hmm.
because the king has got some life in him yet. Don't count that old dog out. He's not
Hmm.
out of this fight yet. He's got
Hmm.
some life left in him. So when we see the coronation of the Prince of Wales and his beautiful, exquisite consort, who's a force to be, she is a force of nature, a force to be reckoned with. When they take the throne, we know what we're getting. And
Hmm.
I like it. I like it. It's their style, it's their story, and Daily Mail they've just dug their own grave doing this, in my opinion.
They have certainly. And this is one thing I was telling there's a friend of mine who reached out. And so he says to me, what do you think about William and Catherine's video? Do you think it was glossy? Was it overdone? Do you think they went a bit over the top? And I say to him, listen, I see no problem at all with that video. Okay, I see no problem at all with that video. I'm just looking at the message,
Beautiful.
yeah, that they are sending out there. So, what is somebody supposed to do when they have got such incredible news? Chemotherapy isn't a very easy treatment. It's
No.
extremely grueling. Grilling is it? Grilling is it's very tough. Okay, how many people have we seen that haven't come out of it successfully?
Mm,
So for Catherine to come out of that was a huge milestone. But also, don't forget, we have our king who is also still undergoing treatment. So this celebration here wasn't actually a celebration for just Catherine and William, but the royal family at large. And
mm,
this is going to give
exactly.
the king a lot of energy coming through as
Mm,
well. Okay. But we also have to think about the times that we are in right now. Okay. We are in what they call the modern times, and William and Catherine have to roll with modernity. Gone are the days when things were now done secretly behind the scenes, in the background. People don't know what's going on, and the people, you know, things have now changed to becoming more transparent, okay, in the way they're expressing certain things.
very good point.
So the king started that transparency idea by sharing information about his cancer diagnosis. There were people again who were not happy with that. Oh, but he should have not. They were there, but he did it for the good of the world out there to promote awareness. Okay, so by Catherine sharing that incredible news of overcoming chemotherapy in the way she did, is going to be very inspiring to those who are still undergoing chemotherapy. Okay, but also modernity means that these young royals, William and Catherine, start relating with the public out there, with young ones out
Mm,
there. And the
mm,
only way they can do it is through those short and sharp and catchy videos.
yes.
Okay, that way they are going to connect with the young people. Okay, so we are living in modern times. Forget what we knew in the past of, okay, no pecking, no hugging, no. See what King Charles did recently. He hugged
Oh.
the New Zealand rugby team. Was it the rugby team?
There was the Black Ferns, and he
Exactly.
invited them to the palace
Ex-
because he couldn't visit New Zealand on his up and coming trip. So when they asked for a hug, the look on his face, he went, "Oh, why
Why
not?"
not?
And was a Charles we've never quite seen before, and I understand he's like that behind the scenes, but I loved it. I
Hmm.
thought it was the most, and they said, "Oh, we're sorry, we didn't mean to tackle you." So
Mhm.
cute, so adorable.
Exactly. So you can see how things have changed tremendously.
Mm,
Okay. Back those days, this hugging would be a no. That would be
mm.
royal protocol gone wrong. Okay. But now, why not? How many times have we seen Prince William and Catherine take selfies with the public? Back in the days, that was a no. Okay. King Charles himself, the selfies are there and he looks in. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
You
So
never heard, we would never have believed it if someone told us this is what was going to happen.
yeah,
But you're right.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
so
So
cute.
we are rolling with the modern times, coupled with a lot of transparency. There's nothing to hide. What you see is what you get. And exactly that was the video we saw. And that Catherine we saw there is the same Catherine that does those things behind the scenes as a family. There is so much love than people know in that family. And that is the love that has helped Catherine, Princess of Wales, pull through these challenging times. That young man, Prince William, had to cancel a very important
Yes.
event when he learned of the news of his wife's diagnosis. Okay, I don't know if people remember that. He
I
was,
do. I remember it.
yeah, and he did it last minute. This is something we don't see royals do. Once they set out to attend an event, come rain or shine, even if their leg is hanging off, go and attend that event because there's a lot of planning, security, recce patrols, things that are put into these journeys for somebody to pull out last minute. Prince William did it for the love of his wife. So tell me why he can't do a simple video like this. What's the problem with that? So this Sussex squad with their very silly narratives. Okay, we are not going to let that bring down Catherine Princess of Wales' confidence that had started rising up again.
Mm,
Okay, we
mm,
won't let that happen. And that was the message in that earlier video I did.
mm.
Hmm.
Oh, it was a really good video. I was getting ready for our live, and I had to go and look because I knew it would be the subject. Whatever you were discussing, I knew it would be the overarching topic of today's live.
Yes.
But the thing is, uh, the Queen was a different monarch. As I adore the Queen, you know how I feel about it. We've discussed it, and Charles was grew up in a different age, and he went to a private boarding school, and it was a very different upbringing. These children, the Wales children, their upbringing is going to be very hands on. I believe, I'll tell you, I heard on a podcast yesterday uh, when the when they went to Pakistan,
Hmm.
the they worked out their departure times with around the school run.
Hmm.
And then the arrival time home was also around they wanted to be back in time for the children when they got home, and they were. And I think it was Rebecca English, that's who it was, on Palace Confidential. And she said it was fantastic for us because
Hmm.
we've also got families, but their whole travel itinerary was worked around the school run and the arrival home of the children. This is the way these children are going to be raised.
Hmm.
Now, they have a very slimmed down household staff, I believe,
Hmm.
and that's my understanding. So good for them. No one well, if they did the opposite, they would be criticized. They do the right thing and they're very modern, hands on parents, and they're still criticized. They're not going to win, but they're not going to win with William. He is his own man. This narrative, his story, he is in full and complete command of their family story. Now, Catherine is an introvert, and we saw this at the Tripping of the Colour when she exited the royal coach and she was in her gorgeous white outfit with her lovely hat. She looked so slender. She was so thin and she'd lost a lot of weight. But you could see her confidence was had taken a beating. I feel emotional talking about it because you can only imagine how she felt. But throughout the day, you could see her confidence was growing because she could see the public were with her.
Mm.
Oh my gosh, cancer is cruel. It's a terrible journey. I remember when my husband received, and it was a terminal diagnosis from the outset. And it's a shocking blow to any family. But William has been there, and her family. That's the biggest criticism, is that the Middletons are in the video.
Mm.
But who was with her when she was eating, trying to eat? Who was with her when she was bathing? It was her mother. Who was with
Exactly.
her when she had to use the bathroom? It was her mother. Who did the school runs? It was her mother.
Mother. Yeah.
And the Middletons, they've picked up the children, they've taken them home, they've been there with them right from, and I believe there was a sighting of um, the Prince of Wales with Carol Middleton at their favourite pub. And, taking a break from royal duties. This man has been through the ringer. It's not just his wife that's suffering cancer, it's his father too. And you can be sure he doesn't want an early accession to the throne. He
Mm.
wants to be living his life with his wife and his children the way he is, healthy as long as he can. He doesn't want to ascend the throne too early.
Mm.
Cancer, this is what the detractors, they're vultures. They are
Mm.
vultures. They just see an opportunity and they just swoop in. It's just disgusting. I just, I have to watch what I'm saying. It's disgusting.
It is.
Um,
It
but
is.
she's done it.
She's
She's
done it.
done it.
She's done
And
it.
William is doing it his way.
And these messages and of hope and all these comments, videos of hope. I hope they are able to see them because I want them to know that regardless of what is going on around the world and the hate that is being thrown at them, they have people who believe in them and who appreciate every single bit of what they do for us, for the royal family, for the world, for the charities and the patronages out there, because these
Mm,
individuals do a lot of work raising awareness, promoting good causes. We want them to be in good health. Okay.
of course. Why wouldn't we? Why would we want anything less for them? Why?
Uh,
Why? To me,
exactly.
it's just if you can't wish the best for this for any family that has come through what they've come through this year, that says a lot about your character.
Mm,
Speaks to the heart of the person who is begrudging this wonderful
mm,
moment of joy. This is the moment of joy. Meghan Markle goes out there. She says in Colombia, and I don't want to labour this point over this woman because this is about Catherine and William today. I'm moving into my moment of joy, my era of joy. And she said it again at a book launch, at a book event last weekend on the anniversary of our late Queen's death, the late, great Queen Elizabeth.
mm.
It's Catherine who's moving into her period of joy, real joy. And there's a scripture that says, the joy of the Lord is my strength. This is
Exactly.
real joy. This is real joy that
Joy.
we're seeing here.
Mm,
And I'm here for it. I want joy in my life. And when I see someone entering into a period of joy, I'm there for it.
Mm.
You can't be joyful for the Walesers at this time. Just step aside,
Step
move
aside.
aside.
Exactly. You couldn't have said that any better, Catherine. Thank you so much for those wonderful comments there. Beautiful gesture. Always very kind to the royal family, the Prince and Princess of Wales. Our wonderful friends in the comment section here are
I'll
lighting
have
up
a
the
look.
crowd. We haven't forgotten you all, by the way.
No, we're on a bit of a roll. We
we,
haven't taken a breath since we went live.
yeah.
Like Francis.
We love you so, so much. Like, was it Lisa who asked me how many white shirts do I own? That question, I've seen it somewhere there.
Bitter Betty's. I love that, Ashley. Bitter Betty's.
It's one of my favorite colors. I love white. So,
Oh, well, you wear it so well,
yes,
Francis.
so I own quite a few, Lisa. Thank you so much for that question. That's made me smile there. Hello, Aspi, Terry, Lisa, every single one of you on this live. You are incredible. Keep that support and love coming. What are your thoughts in the comments section below? Do you think Catherine's and William's video was great? Do you disagree with those very rubbish narratives that the other side of the Atlantic are trying to come up with? I saw no problem with this video. In fact, I've done my research, I've been going around asking people what they thought about that video, and everybody was, what a fantastic video. What a good gesture from the Waleses, sharing that incredible news with not just here in the United Kingdom, but the whole world.
Mm, mm.
Okay, that video went trending. It is being talked about everywhere. It overshadowed all the Sussex's activities across the Atlantic. And what they decided then was to find a way of disregarding it, and they won't succeed in doing so, because this is William and Catherine showing the whole world how to celebrate an achievement, especially something to do with ill health. Okay, what they did there is the true meaning of appreciating life. They put royalty on the side and say, we are celebrating just like everybody would celebrate a milestone. Okay. So for me, well done, Catherine, Princess of Wales. Well done, Prince William. And this gesture actually has brought so much hope for King Charles.
I
Finishing.
agree with that.
Yes,
I
yes.
agree.
So
Yeah.
much hope. And that gathering at Buckingham Palace the other day, King Charles was hard telling people, oh, no, she'll be fine. Oh, we are fine. I'll be fine. Oh, we are all happy now. It's because of the mood that video
Yes.
set. Not only outside
Mm,
here, but even within the royal family. And you could see that Prince William stepped out the day after
mm.
to go and I think he's going to take a salute in place of his father, because King Charles was supposed to be there. Was that in Scotland or somewhere? And King Charles,
Yeah, yeah. It
yeah,
was the RAF salute. So he stepped
Ari,
out to accept
exactly,
the RAF salute. He
exactly.
looked really well.
Oh, he looked very well. His beard and everything. So you can see that
Yeah.
they are not phased at all with this sort of noise coming from the other side of the world. They are doing the right thing, turning up in the right way to do their job. And clearly, you can see in our comment section here, all
I
our friends
know.
are
So
agreeing with
beautiful.
us. Yes, thank you guys so much. We truly appreciate that.
I think that the king will be buoyed by this because of his own condition, but
Mm,
also he loves Catherine. He adores her. You can see the relationship with those two has been forged through this shared experience. He loves his daughter, and a lot of people feel, oh, is he jealous? No, I actually don't think he is. He's the king, and he's very secure in his position.
Oh, he loves his daughter-in-law, and
Mm,
King Charles even kindly requested Catherine to come and be present at his coronation at the Buckingham Palace. Okay, no, King's birthday parade. You
yes.
know,
Mm,
there was a lot of requests coming from the king himself for Catherine to be present. Okay, Catherine is going to be present at the cenotaph allegedly. So again, this would also be something that would have been agreed upon by the king himself. So if the king thought Catherine was overshadowing him or anything like that, he wouldn't be having Catherine show up on moments, magical moments like those, you know. But the royal family is working as a team. All of these things we see Prince William and Catherine do are things that would have been agreed upon and accepted to go ahead and happen by the royal family, headed by the king himself. Even that video would have been gone taken through the proper royal channels, and king knew about it, everybody, before it was put out there. It's not something that Prince William did or rebelled against the royal family and threw his thing out there for people to see without having things discussed upon in the royal family. This is a unit working very much together. When things go wrong, it means the royal family has probably failed as a unit to put things right in that.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So when people criticize William and Catherine for this video, let them not forget that that video would have been a video put out there by the royal family as a whole, and not because Prince William, Catherine want to put themselves out there as the new Kardashians. As no, they are not. Okay, shame upon them is all we can say. Right.
Well, we
This.
saw, to
Yeah.
your point, we saw that with the release
Mm,
of the confirmation of the Australian Royal Tour. It
mm,
followed
mm.
immediately after Catherine's announcement. It was the next day, around the same time of day, which is directed by online traffic, of course. But you could see they were really moving in tandem in that respect. So to your point, they are showing that they are, but I believe they just know this is what people want to see. They want to see this level of tight royal unity. They don't want to see a dysfunctional royal family. They want to see it operating like a well-oiled machine, even in times of great crisis.
Exactly. Thank you so much for clarifying that, Catherine. And you couldn't have said that any better than you have. So this brings us to the King's upcoming tour of Australia. The dates were given to us. So it's the 16th up to the 20, no, the 18th to the 26th.
That's correct. That's
Oh,
correct. And it's a
okay.
very busy time
It's very
for
busy.
him.
Mm,
Yes, he has quite a few solo engagements. I'm looking at a press release here from a reliable source in Australia. And even in Canberra, he's going to meet with CSIRO scientists to discuss rather their work on bushfire impacts in Australia, while Queen Camilla will continue her literary focus and visit a literary meeting with children participating in the Queen's Commonwealth essay competition workshop, but he will be meeting with the I'll just scroll this down a little if you can bear with me.
Hmm.
I know it's not aesthetically pleasing to be looking up at a screen on the, but they will be spending time in Sydney and Canberra from the 18th to the 23rd, and they're meeting with two prestigious Australians who were awarded the Order of Australia for their cancer research, and the King will be meeting with them also in
Hmm.
Sydney, and they will be. Oh, and the War Memorial in Canberra, I overlooked that. So that's a very, very busy schedule, but this will take place before they go on to Samoa for the heads of Commonwealth government CHOGM meeting, which happens quite regularly. And the main topic there will be climate change. Um, people have different opinions about that, but that's the schedule and that's the agenda.
Hmm. So, would you be traveling down to see them at the? I know. Are they going to do the walkabout?
They're doing I actually will go to Canberra. I'm actually going to book my. I want to go by train. I like that train from Sydney to Canberra. It's actually quite pleasant, and because I want to go for the walkabout, although we're not using the word walkabout. Oh, don't get me started. Oh my gosh, we're just so highly sensitive. But there will be some catch ups in the botanical gardens, we'll call it that. And
Hmm.
I love gardens. I love the Melbourne botanical gardens. If they were going to the Melbourne botanical gardens, I that's a further trip. I would go for that because I actually enjoy botanical gardens. But I'm hoping, I haven't rung the gallery yet. The National Art Gallery, they have a famous portrait of the Queen. It's called the Wattle, and she's in this really demure green um, gown and in her full royal regalia. I'm hoping that will be on display. So, yes, I am going to go down and I'll be hoping to push my way through the crowd with my selfie stick.
Yes, please do that. We would
I'll
like
be
you to
doing the best I can.
please.
The beads of sweat are starting to break out. I'll do
Please
the best I can, Francis.
make sure to interview some Australians and ask them what they feel about the King and Queen visiting Australia. We would like to hear
I
their
will.
thoughts.
Yeah, I
Please.
will. Yeah. Oh my gosh, now the pressure's real, girls. Oh, oh my gosh. But they are very busy, but I think you hit the nail on the head. You said the king is buoyed by this development with Catherine.
So the king is, is very, very happy, always happy to see his daughter-in-law, happy. We know he said to Catherine some time back, what function was it? They said he blew a kiss, actually. He blew a kiss to Catherine, okay, when she turned up with Prince William. What function was that? Was it a Commonwealth?
I think it was oh, she looked beautiful and oh my gosh,
I'm
it
trying,
was
yeah.
so endearing. There was nothing contrived about it. And it was is it Windsor Castle? It was at one of those big marquee events.
It was, yes. And I'm trying
Mm.
to see what event it was. Let me see. That is okay. So it was at the ooh,
There
oh,
was
let me
nothing contrived about it at all.
no, it was lovely. Let me see, what was it? It was Catherine was wearing a yellow outfit on the day, so I'll see if I can pull it up. And
Oh,
share
was it the
this.
Platinum Jubilee?
Yes, has it come out? Was it Platinum Jubilee there?
Was because that's what she wore. She wore yellow at the
She wore
Platinum
yellow. Yeah,
Jubilee.
yeah, that's
See,
it. So,
I'm such a fangirl. I know what colour she wore at what event. I
okay,
need to get a life.
yeah. So the
Yeah, it was the
king,
Platinum Jubilee.
it was indeed. So this was at the St. Paul's Cathedral, I think it was. Yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes.
And I was there actually. I was outside the
Woo!
cathedral on that day. I even did a video on the day, and it was a live stream I did. Network wasn't very good because the
I
video
remember that
kept,
because I
kept
watched you.
yeah, the signal kept cutting me out. You know where these royals are on the day, there is a tendency of the security systems switching off internet
Ah,
for that time
okay.
because it's
Yeah.
it's a way of controlling the media and people who would have come with bad intentions on the day.
I
But
see.
yeah, but I managed to catch a glimpse of them going in and out, and I managed to go live for 20 minutes before network went berserk. But yes, what I wanted to say is that the king loves his daughter in law. He adores the humbleness and the respect she has for her husband and for the royal family, and would always support anything that is going to make her happy in the royal family. And we know that Meghan, left with Prince Harry, and Meghan painted this dark picture of the royal family not being supportive of her. They didn't like her. They didn't do all of that sort of thing, which was obviously lies. And so we are seeing the king and how he actually likes Catherine, and that would have been the same sort of love that he had for Megan before Megan left.
I
Otherwise, he
think he
wouldn't have
did.
allowed to walk Megan down the aisle
I
on
think
that
he did
day.
love Megan in the beginning.
He did until she decided to go against, the royal family in the way that she did. Okay, and
Yeah.
for her not to acknowledge them in any way, shape, or form during those interviews and not mentioning how grateful she was for that kind gesture from the king was very telling, wasn't it?
Oh, it was, I mean, some people have made comments on a couple of my videos where, in relation to Charles, and said, well, he was had and, he was outwitted by Meghan. I think he just wanted the best for his son. And we
Mm,
have to remember a lot of Meghan's behavior was on display in the lead up to the wedding, but he still gave her the best of himself and he still gave her
mm,
his love. He walked her down the aisle and he thought it was odd that there was no one else there. But I think you want to believe the best in people, particularly if they're coming into your family, and you want to do that on behalf of the one you love, which is his son. And, you could see the Queen, the Queen, in the church, that famous photo of her staring at Meghan. It's classic. That is one for the history books. That tells the story. The Queen was not a happy camper on the day of the wedding, but the Queen he loves his son, and he wanted. This is what his son went. So the king thought, okay, I'll just do the best I can with this situation. I think anyone who's
mm,
been in that kind of situation understands the position, but he knew it wasn't going to last. You do. I've been in a similar
mm,
situation.
mm.
You know it's not going to last, but you want to be there for the person that you love when you're not going to say it, but when you're thinking, "I told you so."
Now,
Sorry.
Tegan here, Tegan in the comments tells us Get your elbow pads out and shove people out of the way. Get plenty of videos.
Ah,
Yes, get plenty of
I
videos on the
will.
day. Yeah.
I can be pushy, but it's a
Mm.
long time since I've done anything like this. But I will, Tegan. I will. Trust me. I'm going down. I'm not telling any of my family until the last minute when it's all organized. And, you know,
Yeah.
because they're not, they think I'm a fangirl. No, I'm very clear eyed about the royal family. Thank you very much. I say that to my children. And then I have to go through a litany of things that I don't like, and it really irritates me. And I go, no, well, I don't agree with this or I don't agree with that, you know. But sort of like, forget it, kids. You can't trade your mother in now.
Yeah.
Get my
And
elbow pads out. I
and your
love it. I love
channel,
it.
Catherine, is trending. It's going to be trending a lot because you have actually been one of those few channels that have constantly ramped up content about King Charles's upcoming tour. That
Oh,
is really
yeah.
good. That is really good because the thing with King Charles and Camilla, they haven't really been, what should I say? They are here in the UK. Okay, they haven't been fully in tune with the public, fully in tune. So, but the king is getting there now. It has been a journey for him. And then, just as he was starting to pick up pace and, get that special connection with people on ground out there, he got that horrible diagnosis. Okay, so he stepped back again. And now he's just coming out again, and cancer somewhere, somehow, has also sort of brought sympathy from people. And, they are loving how the king has actually managed to pull through and still be a
Yeah.
strong man. So, the aspect of this visit to Australia in here
Mm.
hasn't been that much, hasn't pulled so much excitement yet, but it's getting there. And that's why we are doing these videos to try and push and sort of publicize this trip. And you're
He's
doing
the
a great job
king.
there. Yeah.
Look, he's the king. I'll tell you, this is where I stand here. You know, I was not a big fan of the king. I didn't have a crush on him when I was young. There was a lot of crushes around when he was here in Australia, when he was a young prince before he ever got married. I was not in that camp. I was a queenie. I loved my queen, and I'm a dual citizen. I was born in the UK. I have my opinions about the king, but he's the king. And I'm a constitutional monarchist. Uh, People call themselves fangirls, they call themselves royal watchers. I worked in government and I am a constitutional monarchist. So you're not going to hear me criticizing the king. I have my thoughts and I am in this position. The other thing is, too, I'm a real conservative, and I'm not going to have it in my heart. I'm not going to have God see in my heart me criticizing the king. I just can't do it. I have to answer to the King of Kings. And I'm only touching on this subject because this is where I stand. He's the king. And we have this is what we have. And we have to accept and make the best of it. Now, I love Catherine and William, but I don't agree with everything William
Mm,
stands for. I just
mm,
don't.
mm,
But he's the future king,
mm,
and you have to look at what you've got. You have to look at the world in which you're living, and you're the one who has to make the adjustments. It doesn't mean you have to swallow everything, but you're the one who has to adjust. And I've adjusted. I have, but I grieved over that weekend of the anniversary, recent anniversary. I grieved her loss. But just because I can remember God Save the Queen in my cot when I was a toddler,
Mm.
am I going to hang on to my dummy until my dying days?
You're
Come
right.
on, gang.
You're right, Catherine. He is the king, whether we want it or not. We have to support the
And
monarch.
he's doing well. He's
He's
doing
doing
well.
very, very well. He took over at a time which was very, very challenging. Okay. The Meghan and Harry had started their breakaway campaigns and all of that. Okay. And then we had this cancer illness come and ravage the royal family. Okay. So we've had all of these bad projects with Spare, the Oprah Winfrey, all of those things happening right at the time King Charles was about to take to that throne. And here is a king who, remember, hadn't had that very, very sort of good reputation. He had his issues, you know, in the past, and some of those issues, many people were still dwelling on those issues. So it didn't help him at all when the Megans and the Harrys broke away and started hammering those projects. And so that all served to try and weaken the king himself. But he's done really well. He's
I
come
think
on
so.
top of it, and he's a very strong man. And
Yeah.
I'm so proud of him.
Yes. Yes.
And
Oh, it's impressive.
having William and Catherine behind him, Princess Anne, the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh, okay, playing their roles behind him and supporting him has also been extremely advantageous to the king, because he has managed to hold on and come out on top, as
Yes.
you know. And this is one thing, credit to King Charles. His leadership, okay, I know that they are questioning the way he's handled this Meghan and Harry issue and all of that stuff. But he's quite a good leader, King Charles is.
Mm, mm,
Okay. He has learned from his mother. Okay. He was 73 years, king in waiting.
mm.
so so he takes this throne at 73. The queen took her throne at 20 what? 25? 23? How old was she? 25.
I think she
25.
was yeah, she was. Yeah. It was the year
Okay.
before I was born, 54.
Okay.
So, yeah, she was very young.
Very young. So and those were different times, because those times were, but the queen was very young, very energetic. King Charles takes over the throne at 73, but he has actually managed to do some good work. That
Mm,
gentleman has traveled around UK, Scotland, Wales at that age, okay,
mm.
and he's going to embark on that 24-hour flight journey to Australia. Now I know he's not fully, okay, he's still undergoing his treatment, and doctors might have assessed him and said he's okay to travel. But again, it highlights a king who is very strong and willing to carry on the job just like his mother used to do. His mother swore to carry on with that job till she goes to the grave, and she did it. Okay, she welcomed her last prime minister, and 2 days later, we had Sheila
Oh,
on. Okay,
it's
what
it's a
is
breathtaking example. Absolutely breathtaking from Winston Churchill to Liz Truss.
yeah? You see what I'm talking about? So here is King Charles doing the same thing. He says, come rain or shine, even if I'm going to have to go with one ear hanging off, I'll take that flight to Australia, because my mother set that pace and I must continue with the legacy. Okay, so this is the sort of spirit we have in the royal family. Okay, and William and Catherine coming through the ranks, we are going to get a king and queen who are going to be three times more because not only have they learned from the queen herself, William's grandmother, but he has also learned from the father himself, who is the king now. So both experiences. And tell me why William can't be a great king. Mhm.
Well, that's exactly right. At some point, William chose to forgive. He's made a decision to forgive and to let go of the past. And he would have had to forgive both his parents.
Mm,
So
mm.
look at what comes out of that when you let go, when you choose to take that as grist for the mill. And I mean, like we all acknowledge, uh, King Charles is a flawed man, but I've been interested observing his um, what's the word, evolution into a monarch because he's become quite in tune with the people. The way he responded to the request for the hug said everything. It said everything. These Kiwi female rugby players were at Buckingham Palace the other day. He responded. You could see he just went, "Oh, why not?" There was no real hesitation. There was no barrier between him and these players. And I thought they were really on point. They went in and they came out really quickly. And they didn't overwhelm him, even though there was a big scrum. It was really, I just loved it. It was one of my favorite shorts this week, putting up the hug with the king, because this is, when you look at some of his early videos of him on walkabouts in Australia, he's got his hands behind his back and he looks young and rather aloof. This is very different king. He's really grown into the role. I think his mother would be pleased.
Very, very pleased. Very, very pleased. Because um, the king, I mean, the queen, first, I mean, Diana, first of all, to go back to Princess Diana, she always knew that William is going to be a very, very intelligent young man, his sense of judgment, and everything. And the Queen herself always believed, in William as being the very thoughtful young man.
Mm,
Okay. But also, before King Charles became the king, that last speech that the Queen gave
yes.
and said, "My son, King Charles, when he becomes king and Camilla becomes queen." The Queen at that point put all her trust in King Charles and then William after King Charles. She knew she had taught them the right thing to do. She was very happy with how she left the monarchy, and I'm quite sure her last breath, she was a lady who wasn't worried with the future. She was
Mm,
very much,
mm,
and I think all these meetings and with regards to Harry, and wife Meghan Markle, you know, going away to United States and not allowing them to have one foot in, one foot out. Those meetings would have been certified by the Queen, who said those two,
mm,
when they go, they shouldn't ever come back into service. I trust the people who are here with me, William. I trust Charles. I trust Princess Anne to do a great job. We don't need them. They've decided to go, so let them go. So you're very right, in saying that, the Queen was very trusting of, his son, and also William. She was very happy with how she left the monarchy. But there are some interesting questions here in the comments. I think one came from Aspi. And I'll leave you to answer that one there.
Ask
And
me.
you have highlighted that one. The question
Oh,
says,
okay.
is it true?
Is it true King Charles is not doing
The
walkabouts?
walkabout.
Oh no. Oh, sore point. Because political correctness really grinds my gears. Look, I don't understand why he's come out and done this because I put a video up, and I'm being quite open about this. I know I said earlier, you're not going to find any secret grudges in my heart against the king. And I don't, but I don't understand why he needed to do this because um, an Aboriginal woman came in on the video. It's not a short, it's actually a video on my YouTube channel. And she said, look, I'm an Aboriginal. No one's complaining about this. She's talking about the use of the word walkabout in general. And he put out, I would have thought there are bigger issues to put out a statement about, but they're not using the word term walkabout because apparently the word walkabout is exclusive to First Nations, Australian, Aboriginal, Indigenous groups, right? But the word walkabout is an English word. It's in the English dictionary. It's not necessarily exclusive to, this is my opinion, okay? It's not exclusive to to First Nations. It can't be because it's an English word. And when we were colonized, Australian, I'm a dual citizen. I came out as a 10-pound pom. So I was sent to the colonies as well, gang. Okay. So it was, they were not using the Queen's English as one commentator. I loved the way he said that. But they did do walkabouts and they walked about in the bush. And I think possibly when the Queen adopted that term, I went back and had a look at it, and it was the Queen that adopted that use of that word walkabout because they were walking about. And so the King has said we won't be using the term. I don't know what term they're going to be using, but it's how this is where political correctness, this is where the snake of political correctness starts eating its own tail because I don't even know how to say to Francis if his light goes out, I can't see you because I'm scared I'm going to trip on some politically incorrect expression. And I thought on one occasion I couldn't see him, and I was really, really brave when I said to him, all I can see are your teeth and the whites of your eyes. And I
Yeah.
knew, because I've got to know Francis, so I knew he would just laugh. I grew up with Aboriginals. There were 7 of us. We were in a council, what you call a council estate. They call it a housing commission in Australia. We had 13 Aboriginals, and they are one of the most, I didn't know at the time, they were one of the most famous Aboriginal family in Victoria because their uncle was the first Aboriginal member of the upper house in the Victorian Parliament. And then on the other side of us, we were a really quiet Catholic, Irish Catholic family. So that tells you something. I'm Irish, but I'm a royalist, right? So on the other side, there were 13 Aboriginal, there were 9 Maltesers on the other side, Maltese family, and there were the 7, and they called us snobs, because we had an English accent. And I was a real tomboy. I used to get on the go karts with my Aboriginal neighbours, and my Maltese neighbours had a crush on both sides. And so, and I say to my family, don't, because if we start having these conversations, they're all moving more to the left than I do. And I say, look, I was the original boat person in our family. We
Mm,
were at sea for 6 weeks. So
mm,
coming back to the term walkabout, it really just like has me scratching my head, because and I loved this woman. She was the first person to comment on it. She said, look, I'm Aboriginal, no one's upset about it.
mm, mm,
Someone else though, who I think might be white. I don't know. I'm just assuming they did. Apparently, SBS, yes, of course, SBS did a documentary on walkabouts because they're, multicultural, and I love SBS to be, you know, I love
Mm.
SBS, but of course, SBS did a documentary on walkabouts. But I don't know what they're going to call it. What am I going to do when I'm in the botanical gardens? I'm going to be
Mm.
walking about
Yeah, yeah.
in a
So
garden.
are these botanical gardens very popular then? This is Queen Elizabeth was there last when she came, isn't it? She went to the
They
botanical
are.
gardens, yes.
They are. They're
So this is more like
beautiful.
the royal hotspot for, whenever they come, this is where they like to it's more like a wider area where gatherings can come and comfortably,
They are
without
beautiful.
squashing. Hmm.
Yeah, they are. The gardens, we have some really beautiful gardens in Australia, and we have some beautiful bush areas as well that, people go, people, myself included, white people, people from Chinese people, Asian people, go on walkabouts in the bush,
Hmm.
So, but the gardens are beautiful. But in my view, the Victorian Botanical Gardens exceeds the Sydney Botanical Gardens. They're actually exquisite, absolutely
Hmm.
beautiful. And also the Canberra Botanical Garden, which I want to go and visit when the King is here,
Hmm.
is beautiful. It is
Hmm.
beautiful. But I'm sorry about the rant about the walkabout. You got me going. You really got my blood going.
Yeah.
I'm going to have another sip of my herbal tea.
Yeah. It's more. You remember when the that the queens died, passing, the Meghan and Harry and William and Catherine's walkabout. You remember that
I
walkabout?
do, I do. They're just such
The
a pair, those two, honestly. They just,
Meghan and Harry apparently were planning their own walkabout, and then Prince William knew when if these do that, they are trying to overshadow and sort of divert attention from the main event. So he quickly invited them, allegedly, come, let's do the walkabout as a group here. Okay. And that way
yes.
it helped to keep eyes on what, eyes on them to not
Well,
allow
he
them
did.
go.
And
Yeah,
he called it. It was the right call.
it was the
But
right
on,
call.
on the expression of walkabout, someone was talking about reporting on in one of the media channels, I can't think which, they were talking about Prince William and he was out, and they said, oh, he was out on a walkabout at the RAF. And I thought, oh, don't use that word. But
Yeah.
that is what the Markles, they were
Mm,
planning their own. That is
mm,
so
mm,
scummy. The
mm.
Queen had just died, and all they could think about was themselves.
Exactly, exactly. It didn't go well. But that walkabout as well, there was a bit of tension between Catherine,
Yes,
because we saw that it was very visible, and how these two ladies looked at themselves. And I can't I can't blame Catherine in being distant on that day, because these Oprah Winfrey interviews were still very raw. They had just done those and spoke about how Catherine made her cry and all of those very bad things about Catherine. So that walkabout again was one way Prince William was probably saying, right, come here and look at us in the eyes, okay, and tell us why you said whatever you said in those Oprah Winfrey interviews. And you could see Harry and Meghan wanted the ground to swallow them on that day.
yes, you could, and we just love revisiting that piece of footage, don't we?
Megan nearly fell walking down that path. She was very unstable, holding on to Harry as if she's just about to fall down. Okay. So that
She
walkabout in
she's so
itself
she's so
was
crazy.
like a punishment. Yeah.
It was. I love that because I thought that. I thought that at the time. I thought William has put you right in the spotlight. This
Exactly.
is your
How
punish. This is
dare
not a
you?
gift. It's
Exactly.
punishment.
How
Well
dare-
said, Francis. You and I are on the same wavelength, baby.
So, anyway, I want us to talk briefly about this story that Meghan and Harry are also planning another quasi royal trip, allegedly, to again somewhere in Africa. Is it Botswana? Or is it Lesotho? To
Yeah.
go and visit their charity because I think Harry has a charity down there, Center Ballet. So that charity. So he's had. Is it from Lesotho or Botswana? It's Botswana,
It's
Center Ballet.
Botswana. Botswana.
Botswana,
Yeah.
yes. So there is a rumor going round that that is their next visit to Botswana, and we saw this coming anyway because Prince Harry, Meghan Markle want to they want to portray an image of royals who are still working in some capacity. Because when they visit these countries, they behave as if they are on a royal visit. Okay. So let us hope they are not going to schedule that visit around the same time the king is going to be in Australia. Because I tell you what, if they do that, that would be very disgusting.
Well,
Okay.
I don't know what they hope to achieve. Uh, there's been a lot of chatter, as you'd be well aware of, about Meghan's appearance at the bookstore on the anniversary of the Queen's passing. How do they think that these adolescent games of Games of Thrones with the Waleses and these, you know, marquee royals. These are the top tier royals. How
Hmm.
do they think competing with the anniversary of the Queen's death, the King's visit, how do they think this helps them?
It doesn't, if at all. It shows them as very disrespectful, because they would, on such a day, the right thing to do would be taking a step back to reflect on the incredible achievements of the Queen and, the good service, and even put out a post on their social medias,
Oh, of
celebrating.
course.
We didn't see any of that. Okay. But instead, we saw them stepping out, Meghan Markle, anniversary of the bookstore, Oprah Winfrey, going about their projects and trying to overstage these remarkable events, okay, going on here. Because that's what they do every time they step out, to try and divert traffic from the right places to theirs. And this is what people are anticipating with this alleged tour of theirs to Botswana. They haven't yet said the dates, but apparently it has to be before the end of this year. Now, we hope they don't stage it around the same period the king is down under, because, again, in some way, that is going to overshadow, and we won't let it. But if they still decide to go, trust me, nobody competes against the monarch and wins. Okay.
No, they can't.
Okay. You
I
can't.
take I take on board everything you've said about the king. It's taken a while for the public and the media, etc., to adjust and settle into a king, King Charles. I take that on board, but it won't go down well. If anything, it'll actually enhance the king's popularity. It'll actually work to the
Hmm.
king's advantage if they try to overstage his trip down under, particularly Australia, because Chantal says here, they're talking about the Harkles. They're not wanted in Australia. They're not. And if they try, oh God, I hope they do actually. Oh, I hope they do. Because Australia will remember only too well the way they conducted themselves on their tour here in Australia. If they seek to overshadow the King's visit while he's in Australia, the media will pile on.
Of
Social
course.
media there'll be a huge pile on.
Of
So
course.
they can't read the room. They just
Mm.
cannot read the room. Trying to overshadow a king's visit is just, it's a recipe for disaster. I mean, I think that's why Oprah came in late in that book room meeting last weekend,
To
because
try
she's
and
trying to overshadow the queen. She came in, she quite literally eclipsed, overshadowed um, Meghan Markle
Meghan
by
Markle.
standing in front of the camera, and you could see Meghan didn't handle it well. She was acting all really, really weird. Um,
Exactly.
but if they try to overshadow that King's visit, the Australian media will pile on. They
It
will,
will. It will. And we
because
know we
they
know how.
behaved
Yeah.
badly.
Because I see, I think I follow up with Sky News Australia. Okay, so I
Yeah,
see their videos. They don't like Meghan and Harry with a passion.
that's an understatement. Understatement, Francis.
So let them try it on. They will see what the Australian media will do to them. Okay.
Mm,
But
mm.
that's where we stand at the moment. Our dear friends in the comments, Tegan left us. The phone battery died at some point. We've got so many of yous here today, and the comments are wonderful. Rosie, Sam, Chantel, Martin, Lisa, thank you so much, guys. You've been legendary in the comment section below. You have tried to steer up these conversations, and your questions are very insightful. Terry Misho, thank you so much. She says, Terry says the conversation was very good to listen to. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
thank you. That's
Yeah,
very kind.
that is
And
very.
Lisa, I
Mm,
like what Lisa H
mm,
says. Let's just wait. I have this feeling that big change is coming. I actually agree with that. I sense huge change up ahead.
mm,
A real sea change. Not
mm,
a real sea change. It'll be like the
mm.
parting of the Red Sea. That kind of change. I agree with Lisa.
Very much so. Thank you so much, Lisa, for those thoughts. These thoughts are
Hi,
very
Lily.
insightful. Very, very insightful. Now, before we finish, Catherine, because my light has gone off, you realize that, so it's
I
gone
can
off.
still see you though, darling.
Yeah.
I can still see you.
Before we finish, should we anticipate an appearance for Catherine on Remembrance Sunday,
I
the
think
11th
she
of
will.
November?
Yes, I actually think she will,
Mm,
because this is my reasoning. Okay, this was the big event in the Queen's calendar.
mm,
Everything revolved around Remembrance Day for the Queen.
mm,
That was the cornerstone of her annual calendar. And I believe Catherine will make an appearance for that reason. It will be to honour Her Majesty, because you often saw Her Majesty quite emotional on those occasions.
mm,
And I believe we will see Catherine. There'll be many other reasons, but I believe it will be out of respect for Her Majesty the Queen.
And of course, she will be standing um, on either side. So she might be this way, and then we might get to see Sophie stand the other side and Camilla right
Exactly.
in the middle.
Yep. Yep.
That image there always
Ooh,
completes the remembrance
nice.
service. So it appears in the newspapers as we see King Charles and William laying the wreath at the cenotaph. Catherine, Camilla, and Sophie stood perfectly, on that
Beautiful.
monument. So it would be great. But also Catherine herself, her grandfather used to be in the armies, the Royal Air Force.
Yes. Yes.
So this day is very, very special and memorable for her, and I'm sure she would like to be part of the celebration. Yeah, and with this good news of her completion of chemotherapy, and the video we saw is a ray of hope for us
Oh,
that we are
I
just
know.
about to get our Catherine Princess of Wales back. Okay,
Oh,
so
it's
great
wonderful.
times. very exciting for the royal
Mm.
family with that tour coming up, with future royal events in the Remembrance Sunday, the Christmas carol services, because we know Catherine likes to do the together at Christmas carol
Mm.
service. So it feels like things are going in the right direction with that recovery process, and we are so excited about that.
There's your phone. Is
Yeah,
that your wife telling you it's
that's my
time?
alarm going
Come to
off the
bed,
time.
darling. It's time. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Raven and Lily.
Yeah,
And
thank
thank you,
you,
everyone.
everyone.
I,
Yes.
hey, gang, I think that's his wife calling him. She wants her man's attention.
But we've had such an incredible audience tonight, haven't we? As
Oh, look,
always.
always, they're so
Uh,
gracious. I
yes.
love the grace. You go on some streams, and oh my gosh, some of the comments, you would never say it in a public space. You might think that about someone, but you would, some of the way people talk, but you don't get that in your chats, Francis. They're so,
No,
so lovely.
this is a community of
Yes.
kindness and love and support. Now, Catherine, before you go, shout out your channel because today you haven't put it up here
A
because usually
royal
you have a
IOTA.
royal iota.
Yes,
Okay.
gang.
So
A royal IOTA.
I'll write it here so they can a royal iota. Okay, so
Thanks, gang.
yes, I've written it
Yeah.
in the comments there. Let me see if it's down at the bottom.
Oh, look at this. Someone says here,
Yeah.
oh, Lana, I never join in with live chats apart from Francis and Catherine. Everyone here is so lovely and friendly. Oh,
Oh,
I'm
thank
gonna
you, Lana.
cry. Oh, well, there's no,
Thank you.
there's no point being rude and unkind. What's Look,
I'll,
you don't talk to people like that in real life. I don't know why people think they can get away with it online. It's just so rude and so crass.
I know. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Lana. If you're still on,
Beautiful, beautiful.
beautiful. We truly appreciate. Rosie hugs everybody. You know, life is like a box of chocolates. Oh, I like that name. Sam,
Chocolates,
thank you,
okay.
Lily. Yeah. Everybody in the comments, this channel is a channel of love, friendship, hope, and we always try our best to support our royals through these very challenging times. Now, those of you, of course, who have never probably come across one of my videos talking about my life in the royal family as a Queen's Guard, may I also shout out tonight that yes, I was a former Queen's Guard. I worked for the royals, lived at the royal palaces, offering security services at the sentry boxes. I've met all these senior royals at one time, and I've done Queen's and King's, well, Queen's birthday parades, the Diamond Jubilee. I did all of those special events, meaning that I got the opportunity to meet the royals and, you know,
I know, it's
get to
beautiful.
talk to them. Very, very beautiful. And when I come and conduct these royal news live streams and get to speak to people like Catherine and the videos we put out every day, we are speaking from a position of love and appreciation for our British royals and for what they did for me personally as a person from a Commonwealth country to be given that opportunity to serve and work in the royal family was unheard of before. So that's why I speak like this about the royals every day. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, go and check it out though, because it will actually give you a new appreciation. I just want to say this, and not just because Francis and I have become collaborators and also friends, but when you look at some of the guards in their suits with their big bear hats, and if once you hear Francis' story, it just gives all of that another complexion. You begin to see behind the uniform. So I really highly commend you go and find some of those videos of Francis talking about his service because they're quite touching.
Yeah.
And he met the Queen. He met the
Exactly.
Queen.
Yes. And one day we will do a series with you, Catherine, where we'll sort
Yes,
of sit down, talk about my life
yes,
and
yes.
how a normal day in the palace was like, and what
Ooh,
the royals enjoy doing, the sort of activities. Queen Elizabeth and his
yeah,
glorious days. How was she like
yeah,
behind those palace walls? And William and Catherine, you know, behind the scenes, how are they like? Because they used to
yes.
visit us at the Irish Guards Regiment, which is part of the Irish Guards regiments, and they used to come around quite often, and we used to have a conversation with them. They are laughing, very easygoing people. We could share a pint of Guinness on St. Patrick's Day.
Oh,
So I have a
nice.
lot of stories to tell about these
Mm.
royals and the great work that they continue to do for not just the UK but the Commonwealth.
Well, we'll celebrate. I'm about 90 away from 1,000. We'll celebrate the 1,000 mark, and we'll
Okay,
do an interview on my channel. And
absolutely.
we will, because I actually do want to get down to the nitty gritty. Because I'll tell you, I've been looking at some. There's a Royal Guards channel, and I've been looking at quite a few videos, and I just see them differently now that I've heard your story. But it's actually giving me some different questions that
Mm,
maybe other channels haven't asked, more about the detail of the job. So we'll do
absolutely.
that. But
Mm.
guys, go and check out those videos on his channel because they're really, really interesting.
Thank you for the call out. Right. Okay. So it's nearly bedtime here in the UK.
Yeah, sweet
And
dreams, Francis. Thank you
yes, and I
so
know
much.
it's very early. Where are you? It's about 10, 9 o'clock
Uh,
in the
it
morning.
is. I'm going to have my breakfast. It is 10. It's 8:47 a.m. here in Sydney. It's
Oh,
spring, and I'm in a spring mood.
well done. Thank you for always waking up
Thanks,
very early in the
gang.
morning to be here on this show, Catherine. Truly appreciate.
Yeah, no, I love
Yes.
it. I love it. All
Yes.
right. Well, you have a good sleep,
Okay. And to you,
Francis.
our dear friends, take care
Bye,
for the
everybody.
weekend. Bye, everybody. Until we see you again very, very soon for another live stream. I think Sunday-ish, maybe.
Yes.
We'll
Yeah.
we'll
Yeah.
plan
We'll
one. Yes.
touch
Mm.
base. If
Okay.
something really major happens, we'll be here covering it.
All right. All right. Because we are the most reliable Royal News channel here on
Agree
YouTube.
with that.
Thank you,
Bye,
guys.
gang.
Bye, everybody. Bye. Bye.
Okay.
Lovely.